And hello, I'm the number player guy, and hey, do we have a great video for you today? Top 10 LRs as we cross the Christmas of 2023. So, a nice Christmas video, top 10 LRs. Now, this will include easy A's, of course. Nothing is off the table, and we can just have a look at the awesomeness of these LRs and just how well the evolution is. Now, a couple of rules. So, I have put some thought into this. This will be based down to the usability, such as like the leader skill, the defensive value, the offensive value, the teams that they can rely on, the leader skill, the available partners, and just how well they can impact a small team. In fact, something like how well they impact a small team as like the outstanding only unit really gives them a lot of credit because that means they're more valuable. We're talking like units that are far easier to use, fun, welcoming, and of course have a lot of value. Now, I try my best, and of course, you ain't going to satisfy everyone. And there's 4 pages of LRs on this, so of course, some of the newer ones are obviously going to be on this compared to the older ones. Now, we start off with a couple of honorary mentions. We're talking stuff like Fusion Zamasu. Fusion Zamasu is an absolute beast, right? In the right hands with a 200% leader skill, or more importantly, in the right hands with his links, he is an absolute demon. On my playthroughs, he goes from like 80k defense to 400k defense, doing something like 666 million attack stats. I mean, we're talking, he is an absolute beast. And then we're talking like, let's have a look. Carnival Goku. Carnival Goku currently out on a banner right now. So like this guy is a full-on 200% for Battle of Which is really good. Has damage reduction, builds up additional defense, is pretty solid defensively. But I mean, he has a 200% to Battle of Wits. Is a pretty good team. Can struggle offensively, but he's a pretty decent unit to most teams. We're talking like LR Metal Cooler, who is an absolute behemoth, and he just heals and heals. And again, with the right links on the right team, especially he's got a fantastic team, just Wicked Bloodline, which is massive amount of people on this list. Then yeah, so and of course we're talking like one of the more popular ones, of course, which will offend a lot of people. There is absolutely no doubt. I must find him on here somewhere, and that is LR Gohan. AGL LR Gohan. Even with his easy A, I'm afraid people is not in my list. It's nice that he has guard. Granted, he has guard, but only if you're above a certain threshold. When you transform, oh, dude, he does like 24 million attack stats. It's like a one-hitter quitter. Even at 55%, he's an absolute beast. But getting there is not exactly the easiest. That being said, get him there, and he's an absolute demonic power. So we'll start off at 10, and we'll work our way down. So what do we have coming in for number 10? Number 10, you gotta love these ads. Number 10, we have Rose, simply because Rose is just an absolute monster. We'll try and bring him up. So Rose, after his Easy A, became far more flushed out, far more versatile. Where is he in today's world? He's probably on page 3. He is, here he is. So this guy, when he came out, solid, but quickly dropped off. It's not that he didn't have start of turn stats. It was just more, that was all really he had going for him. Now, he did greatly raise defense, but he needed something more. Now they gave him more. And the dude is, even at 55%, he's easy A. He does like 15 million attack stats, just casual, right? You get him to the point where he needs this key is he gets a final, yeah, this is it, up to 160% each one. So you get like full 24 key, and the guy's doing something like 20 million attack stat, 22 million attack stat, is absolutely monstrous, right? And he has a 50% chance to crit, depending on whether he delivered the final blow. He has an insane amount of key. He has, which just fixed a lot of the problems. He has an insane amount of power, still greatly raises defense. That's what makes him really good. He's just so fun, so amazing to use. Future Saga does have a 200% lead standalone, which means him on it is absolutely bonkers. I think it's Time Travelers is the LR Trunks, and I think Future Saga is STR Gohan. But nonetheless, he fits better when it turns to the it's him. He has is it Extreme Realm or Realm of Gods, but also Worldwide Chaos? Pretty bonkers. The team that he can fit around for these people, like he works brilliantly with Rose, LR Zamasu, LR Tech Zamasu. This guy's just had his easy A. I mean, basically, the Extreme Future Saga people is absolutely dumb, and this guy is without a doubt just like, I mean, he hits quite casually after his super attack, and depending on supports, you can get between up to 250 and 350k defense while very casually doing something like 15 million, which is why he is just without a doubt cemented in number 10. Yeah, you could say that Gohan is better. He's got guard, he stacks defense, and he builds up, sure, so in the longer run, yes. But you must have seen my gameplays of this guy. It doesn't matter. You go into like Extreme Super Battle Road, nothing is left alive by the time he attacks. And if he does a double super, it's game over for everyone. Because even the double super comes in at like 10 million, 9 million, which means nothing is surviving that except for like the individual unit in Extreme Super Battle Road. So next that we have now, we're going to have STR Cooler. The reason I've got STR Cooler in this is more for his how well he gems better with everyone, how well he just merges better. He's got a brilliant leader skill coming in with 200% essentially for like transformation boost is just everybody right these days. So it's 200% for movie bosses or terrifying conquerors. Absolutely mad. The guy greatly raises on his 12 key, so that's pretty interesting. And greatly raises defense in his 12 and stacks attack in his 18 key. He does all these additionals. Each one builds up stats, as well as each one is giving you 50% to your super. He can build up in a couple of turns, and he might start off with a couple of mil, but then he will very quickly, rapidly go up to like 10 plus million, even at 55% fully built up. It just takes him 10 attacks to get there. But I have seen people who respect for additionals, and by God, he does like 6 attacks, 5 of them are super attacks. They're like 4 of them have greatly raised defense on one of them stacks, and of course they're each building up. It's absolutely ridiculous. He can be a very formidable opponent, and he has a fantastic leader skill. And he links up really well with like Big Bad Bosses, Thirst for Conquest, Metamorphosis, Legendary Power, you name it. Planetary Destruction, Target Goku. I mean, these are the people you need him on, right? He has a brilliant link set, works well. To be honest, because of Big Bad Bosses, Thirst for Conquest, and Metamorphosis, he worked well with Janembas, Freezers, Turlers, Other Coolers, Baby. I mean, you name it. He's going to work well with absolutely everybody, including the likes of like Shenrons. I'm not entirely sure what you get with Shenrons, probably Terrifying Conquerors and Target Goku, but these links means that he's just, I mean, he has some of the best links, if not the best link set in the game, right? So it is pretty ridiculous. Maybe if he had more of a universal shattering the limit kind of deal or prepare for battle, that might make him more of the best in terms of links, just a more universal key link. But the guy doesn't struggle. He has 5 key and then builds it up. Guaranteed to auto super. It's pretty bonkers. LR Cooler firmly is cemented in number 9. There are people who will absolutely say he's in the top 3. And you know what? You put a gun to my head and say he belongs in the top 3, and I'd say you're right. You know, what he does, his power, his overwhelming force, yeah, you could arguably say it is. But of course, you'll find that pound for pound, Rose is actually better. Rose hits harder pound for pound and starts off with a higher turn defense. And for short events, Rose is just better for shorter events. But yes, of course, his leader skill is literally the only thing that actually holds you back. Rose even has a rage skill, which means you're immortal, and that's pretty bonkers in there. Right, next one is another villain that we're going for. This time we are going for, is he on page? I think he's on page 3. Here he is, Perfect Cell. We're going to have a crack at Perfect Cell. Now, he's had his easy A, and he is insanely powerful, right? It's just no doubt. We'll just turn that off. So he has 120%, and then it doubles. You know, the greater that. So start of turn, you have 240%. Factor in the fact that you've got like Big Bad Bosses as well. Really helps out. Look at his teams, dude. This is an insane amount of teams. He has this evolve, which goes from, I think it was 30%, now it's 40%. So that improved a little bit. Trust me, it makes all the worthwhile. The big bad bosses and Kamehameha and Fierce Battle Legendary Power puts him in contention. That's why you can see a few of the others in here. But there's the Cells. He really helps out the androids and the Cell Saga in particular. These two have had their easy A and they're pretty unstoppable. This guy's pretty respectable. This guy is a support class 4 then. So again, really good. Can work out really well. His power is insane. And when he transforms, again, he's not as powerful as Gohan, but the guy he just crushes, right? And it's just insane what he can do. Between him and Gohan, yes, I prefer this guy. The only reason I prefer the Cell being on here because he helps out. Because like Gohan is Kamehameha, but you works out on Super Saiyan 1, Super Saiyan 2, but the roster's already massive. Hybrid Saiyan's probably one of his better ones, but there's already a massive roster. But that Cell, for the androids in particular, is really strong what they have him in. So that's him. So now next we have Golden Frieza. So Golden Frieza is pretty ridiculous, right? So we'll try and speed through a little bit of this. So Golden Frieza, why is Golden Frieza on here? Well, he has 90% damage reduction. That's one of the reasons. He does quite casually when he builds up about 9 million attack stats and can do multiple super attacks. I believe his 18 keys, the only one that gives you a little bit of defense, you only get 30%, but with that damage reduction start of turn stats, it's brilliant. Yes, you do lose 10% damage reduction all the way down, so you only have 30% left. But honestly, his high power, along with some teams that he can be on, it doesn't matter. Nothing's left alive, really, for him to lose all 60-70% of his damage reduction per rotation. He works well as a defensive slot 1 unit and can hit really hard. Now, of course, a dynamite combination would be like the other AGL Golden Frieza, the one who also has 90% damage reduction, the non-LR. Now, they share no links because they're the same name unit. But if you had him on a team, on a same rotation, you'd be immortal in that rotation. One would require you to be over 40% HP, but one would just be depending on how many turns you've had. So they're both immortal in many respects. And then you got Tech Golden Frieza, who could be a brilliant complement. Again, ain't going to share any links, but having these 3 people on your team, your units, they're going to be absolutely bonkers. He works well in the sense that while he might not have stuff like Big Bad Bosses, he does have Universe Most Maleficent, etc., and Strongest Hand in Space. So he can work still well with other Frieza units. Really good with Target Goku and Resurrected Warriors. So again, he can fit in, and of course, he will be primary on your team, and he does attack extremely high. But again, his versatility for just being in slot 1, they're just, I mean, off this entire list here, of any that are slot 1, you just don't really have it. Some that are, but it depends on who you're going up against. So of course, with his overwhelming power and the fact that he's so useful, like Resurrected and Target Goku and stuff like that, and just as his defensive prowess, I mean, you could say he's in the top 5, but I'd say because he's missing a few links, he doesn't have the best leader skill. There are some better, and all of these, by the way, they're like on the same level with each other judging, and it's like one little mistake can knock you down, not just one, but like 3 spaces. So just because Frieza's in 7th and Cooler's in 9th, I mean, we're talking nitty bitty bits. But yes. Anyway, coming in at number 6, I have Easy A Super 13 movie hero, AGL, Goku. Pretty bonkers. This guy, he's worth a showcasing. Oh, here he is. So this guy in particular, so he hits hard no matter what. And they gave him a huge amount of stats on his Easy A. Now he gets attack and defense per Super Saiyans on the team, not just attack. And of course, he gets an additional per key sphere obtained. So the fact that you get defense as well means that you could quite comfortably go from about 150. 150k is probably more like rainbow stats. But depending on the orbs, you get because you got like rainbow orbs that all chain together and some AGL orbs, you could quite easily get it's not uncommon to get 9 to 11 Like you can hover around there in terms of orbs, and he'll shoot up to over 300k defense, whilst giving himself 50% as well. He's pretty ridiculous. So if he double supers, he's pretty bonkers. He hits extremely hard as well. So and of course, his crit chance goes up as well, and damage reduction. I didn't even realize that. So like, it's not uncommon you get like 9 or 10 orbs for which you're going to have 70% damage. Well, no, let's say of those 10 orbs, you're going to get 7 of them, right? So you're going to have, well, basically 50% damage reduction, 50% chance to crit, with an insane amount of stats going in. It's absolutely bonkers. The guy hits ridiculously hard, so easy to super. Honestly, the 12 key, you'd only ever see it if you just use additionals, right? That's basically it. But yeah, Super Saiyan's really good leader skill, 4 key, 150%. It's not bad. There are others that are stronger, but the fact that it's Super Saiyans means it doesn't so much matter. There are some high caliber people on this that, yes, there are, of course, better ones. I mean, you can get I believe the Int LR, is he not 170, for example? And the new unit that just come out a few days ago, they're at 200%. So you can have a better one. Of course, they can also work side by side. So yes, the hard hitting, very fun to use, very easily fixable in many situations. You can easily throw them in there. Okay, so that is the lower end of the 5. Now, of course, we have some, as I say, you got your honorary shout outs, So on this, we're talking like God Goku. God Goku could quite easily be on the top 10. And I think the only reason he isn't is because of his leader skill. But then again, his leader skill is unique in that it's hybrid or pure Saiyans. We're talking these guys who are, they just had their easy 8 and they are defensively unstoppable. They have a 66% chance to dodge. We're talking UI Gokus who have a 70% chance to dodge. Now, in the right situations, flip a coin, it goes your way a little bit. You could be untouchable. We're talking 5th anniversary easy A's. Vegito just builds up defensively with these guaranteed additional supers, and Gogeta has pound for pound, has crits built in. So again, could be really strong. But yeah. Anyway, top 5. We now start off with Boo. Boo is just ridiculous. Boo is. He came in just before the 8th anniversary, and it's a bit of a waste because you don't want to use your stones on him. But by God, if you did use your stones on him, good God, he is an absolute monster. Let's see if we can pull him up before my computer crashes. But yes, he is a bit of a freak. That's for sure. So if he has, I think it's like a 70% chance to guard. But if you're against a fusion or a Boo Saga enemy, you have a guaranteed guard. Not only that, but if you get hit first, you have a 100% raise to your stats. 100% raise to your stats. You just gotta love it when the PC just freezes. So that's fine. So yeah. So he can hit stupidly hard. He has stuff like Metamorphosis and wall beyond tall or something like that, and he also has margin power, which means that he is, and I believe, is also 150% for, I think it's, if it's not margin, power absorbed, for example. So that's something. Yes, we should be able to pull him up shortly. On margin power absorbed kind of deal, he is, of course, not the only LR on there. We do have the physical Boo-hong or Boo Tanks or whatever the hell he's called. So there is that one. Looks like this page does not want to load anytime too soon. So yeah, he is very much highly valuable. His chance to guard is pretty high, alongside the fact he gets guaranteed guard on a certain condition. He builds up as well, by the way. So every time you take a hit, you build up attack and defense, and he can very quickly just become quite an unstoppable force. You gotta love when this doesn't work. Shall we give it a quick refresh? See if this works. But yeah, no. So Boo is definitely on the list for one of the more stronger of the LRs that we have. No, absolutely no doubt on this. Are we able to go to page 1? You never know. Whoa. Shall we give it a quick minute? You gotta love the ads. All right, anyway, I'll try and come back around for Buhon and this, but yes. Anyway, number 4, we have LR Piccolo. Now I'm going to pause and come back and try and bring up Piccolo or Boo so we can just have a quick recap. Okay, so just a quick one for you then. So yeah, my PC did actually manage to crash out, but here we go. So you have a 70% chance to guarding all attacks, and that's just flat out, but it's guaranteed against them. And you build up as well, right? It's pretty bonkers. Oh, look at this. You also have double your stats for the first 4 turns. Yeah, what can I say? He hits really hard. He can build up really nice. He is, well, what is he? He is Margin Buu Saga or Heavenly Events. But the stuff when it comes to like artificial life forms, Margin Buu Saga, Margin Power, Power Absorption, he is an absolute behemoth. And off this list of people, yeah, no, outside of the other LR, he is by far and away just the most dominant force going. He is an absolute beast. He is one of my most favourite LRs. No doubt that if you ever get a chance to put him in slot 1, which can be a bit risky, but again, you do have this at the very least, he will probably destroy whatever's in there, which is absolutely funny. But yes. So, of course, now in number 4, we have LR Piccolo. Now, he came out last year, so it's mad to believe that very soon he's going, like a week, he's going to be a year old. He came out alongside LR Gohan, who is a little bit of a disappointment. Very, not say very much, not a lot harder to work with, but a lot more RNG based. He builds up on super attacks. With this guy, you just need to get hit. He has guard, and you just need some other bond of master and disciple. You get additional stats, which is helpful with your guard. And that guard really helps to build up. Now, these are the units that came out alongside Cell Max, which is probably still the most hated event in the game. It's a heinous event, and not many people can even get close to Cell Max in the 3rd round. But put it this way, if a unit can do well in Cell Max, they're just good, period. And never mind those who can beat Cell Max. I mean, he could stand alone, single-handedly defeat him, especially with his giant form, which also brings out another point in the sky. So you do need another bond of master and disciple ally on the team for him to actually get his additional stats and guard. And then that would allow him to build up. When he has that, it seems he also has damage reduction, which is really great. So that's really good. All allies get 2 ki after he receives an attack, which means if you fall short, you won't anymore. His giant of course, his giant allows him to become invincible and do ridiculous damage. And of course, he still greatly raises defense on his super attack. He is the most powerful, most impressive Piccolo by far and for a while. And honestly, he still kind of is. Superheroes and battle wits, in particular with Bond of Master and Disciple or Movie Hero. So Superhero and Movie Hero go well, and Battle of Wits and Bond of Master and Disciple go well. But it's your first one, Superhero, Movie Hero. Is basically anything. Movie Hero with any super class from the entirety of Dragon Ball Super, right? We're talking from the Beerus Saga all the way up to the Tournament of Power, right? That's basically superheroes. It's insane. He is formidable. He is powerful. He gets to like 1,000,000 defense rather quickly, depending on how many attacks he can get. It's just insane. He also fully heals, it looks like. When he has the additional damage reduction as well when you fully heal. Yeah, no doubt he's absolutely bonkers. The Gohan's a bit harder, it's a bit more harder to work with. Not to say he's terrible, but he kind of looks terrible, looks bad next to this guy. But if you have this guy, your teams are gonna definitely appreciate him. So that's who we have. So now we have the top 3, and we're just going to go ahead and put them in. We have the 8th anniversary unit. We have the brand new unit, and we have the number 1 unit still in the game is Trunks and Vegeta, also a Cell Max competitor. Now just over a year old. They came out last November. It's now basically Christmas. In fact, we're about 50 minutes away from Christmas. So the reason why I have, I mean, like, if you want to speak about their number 2 unit, go watch my other video, which we know what they're about. They're very fun to use, fantastic leader skill, probably the best, 200% pure Saiyans. So, I mean, that alone puts them really high up, and that puts you in the top 5 alone just with this. For what they can do and how well they can do it, and how easy and funny they are, they're definitely in the top 3, I would say. But now we're talking like, let's see, this guy. So there are 2. So the STR unit, they're good and they stack attack, but they'll drop off the most because they're offensively based and they stack attack. Whether these guys will have more value because they greatly stack or stack, defense, which is pretty good. Power of Wishes and Final Jump is basically the same thing. When you combine with Connected Hope and Margin Buu Saga, which is again the same thing, it's pretty powerful. Connected Hope, believe it or not, it's just good. It's just got little people in here. It's just a category that doesn't seem impressive, but you look at it as individual units on the 200%, and you go, oh, okay, no, they got something good. Ridiculous start of turn stats. They get ridiculous, easy key mechanic, guaranteed supers, great chance of supers, greatly stacks defense, right? In particular, these are the units that came by with these standby skills. They're various between what they do. In a sense, it's like a life changer. It's a lifeline. In particular, these ones are broken. So these you can't attack when they're in the standby mode, but you have guard, ridiculous amounts of start. I think you have 250% guard. You have damage reduction per rainbow key sphere, and they also generate rainbow key spheres. So you could be stacking up a little bit. And even if you never stacked at all and you just fall below 50%, and then you come in from the 4th turn, right? You could pop this. You got guard. You have damage reduction per rainbow, and you can quite easily get like 6 or 7 of them. And I believe you get 8%. So you could be talking like 60, 70, even 80% damage reduction, depending on the orbs. And that's just broken. Yeah, you can't attack, but god damn it, you can just withstand anything. Nothing can stop you. And if you do get a couple of stacks in, you could be really good. 18 is basically where you want it, or is it 20? I can't remember. No, 18, because 18 is when you get the other chance to get the super attack, which is pretty good. Now, the only real downside to these guys is it's this. So you get the additional defense as the first attacker in a turn, which means that slot 1, I mean, unless you built up, it's just not going to go well for you. If it was just in slot 1, you'd be better off. This, though, is insane. You get 2 key per key sphere obtained and 100% attack. Means you hit like 7-8 million pretty consistently, which is good. They're both like that, by the way. Both anniversary units were kind of the same. But sure, yes. So, these are pretty good. And there's no doubt then that the 8th anniversary units are still one of the strongest units in the game. There's no doubt. But of course, the best unit in the game is going to be this. These came out, as I say, a year ago now, but they're just good. They're a Cell Max Crusher, and they just crush anything. They have guard, they build up, they have tremendous stats. They have additional stats if you guard as the first. I mean, it's absolutely bonkers. Even at 55%, coming in with rather respectable 13,500 with guard and builds up. They have some of the best teams going. Bond of Parent or Future Saga, which is a full 170. Battle of Fate, alongside Connected Hope. Little bits of a few characters that you can put into these make it really good. They still have a tremendous team. They also raise defense on super attack, of which as well they also launch additional attacks, which is really good. So you can get 2 or 3 supers out of them. In terms of their links, 200% for Time Travelers and 200% for Future Saga. I don't think you're on Super Saiyans, no, but you're on Bond of Pen, which is themselves. You think you've had an easy A. These have had an easy A, and they're fairly respectable. You can work well with a whole bunch of these teams. You rock a chance with these two. I'm sure you're going to be pretty unstoppable, this guy. So I mean, like, what are we talking about when we hit these with 4 teams? We have so let's see, Join Forces and Super Int. Okay, so that's fine. So joint forces is something. To be fair, joint forces is also pretty powerful. What are we talking about with these guys? Bond of Parent, Bond of Master, Battle of Fate, and I'm pretty sure Battle of Fate is the 200% for this person. Let's have a look. It is. So you get a 200% with Gohan, who stacks. What do we get with these guys? Joint forces, Bond of Parent, Bond of Master. Bond of Parent is absolutely ridiculous. We're talking 8th anniversary, Joint Forces, Battle of Fate. So that's pretty. Bond of Parent. Is it Bond? Yeah, Bond of Parent and Battle of Fate. And what are we talking? Bond of Parent, Battle of Fate. So these can have a 200% for the 8th anniversary unit. Pretty ridiculous. I say, what is it we share in this? Yes, Joint Forces. So that's something. And what do we share with this guy? Fighting Battle of Fate, Bond of Parent and Battle of Fate and Super Int. Super Int, Super Int. Yeah, sure. Why not? Good on pretty much all of these teams are hugely needed for like Vegeta Family, Battle of Fate, Time Travelers. That's a pretty ridiculous Extreme Super Battle Road. Is like 554 is pretty nutty. But yeah, these are still probably the best units in the game. But yes, you can interchange 1 and 2 probably, depending on how well you favoritize the trio of Saiyans. But yes, I just bear in mind I tried to satisfy a lot of people, and there's a long video of this. But you got to take into consideration the awesomeness that some of these are. Like Boo is an absolute behemoth. Piccolo can get a million defense. Golden Frieza just has damage reduction outright, and Rose just pound for pound is probably one of the more powerful LRs on this game, just pound for pound. The only one who can really match him is this guy, and even then, you probably still take a whole field of orbs before you can. So, it's this is what I presume easy or whatnot, no holds barred. This is going to be the top 10 LRs that we have in the game right now. So thank you very much for watching. This will be a nice Christmas gift for you all. If you liked it, brilliant. And if you didn't, well, that sucks to be you. But I'll love you and leave you for now. So thank you and bye-bye.